Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Today's topic is going to be two-factor authentication. This is a very important security topic to discuss, so let's get on with it. Now you remember the routine. If you like the video, please click the like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get on with the show. My goal today is that this tutorial should be fun and it should be easy to understand. Now there are 4 methods of two-factor authentication, and I've tried to make it very simple, so I've called it simpler, I've called it simpler, I've called it simplest, and then there's brain dead, where it's so simple you don't have to do anything. That is going to be available at the end of the video, so please watch the whole video and you'll find out what the easiest way of two-factor authentication is. So let's get started. Now, two-factor authentication is very easy to understand. What is two-factor authentication? Well, it is simply a second way of identifying who you are. Let me explain how this works. Traditionally, when you go to log into a site, you'll put a password in. Now, I do understand there's lots of problems with passwords, but two-factor authentication is a second way of identifying who you are. Let's look at the problems we have with passwords. Now, I fully understand passwords are difficult. Passwords are always a huge problem. You know, despite having password managers for over 10 years, less than 5% of people use password managers. People use simple passwords to try and remember them. They use passwords for multiple accounts, the same password. And oftentimes, even if they have really good passwords and they use a password manager, they have very poor computing skills. And as the week goes by, they give up clues as to what their passwords do or are. So I do get it. And this is not a video on how to improve your passwords, because passwords just don't work. It's very interesting, though. Google published an article about a year ago, and within 2 or 3 seconds of you logging in onto the computer, Google can 100% identify who you are just by what you type on the computer. So it's very interesting. So passwords probably will be going away, and the sooner the better. Now, when we're talking about security, there's always the nobody somebody argument. And I've actually heard this many times from people in our audience today. Why worry? I am a nobody. Who would want to hack me? Now, it is very interesting, though. This is Tech for Seniors. Most of the world's personal wealth is actually held by seniors. So if you did want to focus in on a group who you wanted to hack, it would be seniors. But having said that, let me explain how hacking actually works. Now, I want you to have a little fun with this. I want you to go outside. I want you to lay down in the evening, and I want you to look up at the stars. The billions and billions of stars that are up there. And I want you to think of those stars as Google accounts. Google has a lot of accounts. It has over 1 billion accounts, right? And I want you to think of those stars as Google accounts. Now, what is in all those accounts that hackers would want? Man, all those stars and all that, what would those hackers want in all those accounts? And many of you think, yes, they want to get my bank account information so they can get into my bank account and steal my money. Well, that's not really true. Banks are pretty good now at protecting you, and it's a lot of work to try and get some money out of your bank account. So what hackers are looking for is money. and money is in Bitcoins. Now, I fully understand that you probably don't own any Bitcoins. You may or may not know what a Bitcoin is. And you may, in fact, not even have a credit card and just want to pay cash all the time. I mean, seniors tend to be very conservative people. But let me tell you that Bitcoins are the currency of the future, and a lot of transactions in the world today, particularly in certain countries, are in Bitcoins. And there's billions and billions of dollars of Bitcoins traded in the world every day. And this is a digital form of currency that's stored in your Bitcoin wallet, which can be found in your Google account. So if the bad guys were looking for money, they're looking for Bitcoins because it's non-traceable and it's easy to get if they can get into your account and strip out the Bitcoins. That is where the bad guys are looking for the money. And the second thing is pictures. Pictures are very important, and this fuels the porn industry. So when the bad guys are hacking into your account, they're looking for compromising pictures. They're not only looking for compromising pictures, but they're looking for pictures that could be ransomed in the future. And this often happens when, there's young teenagers involved and they are taking pictures of their new boyfriend or with it, doing some things they shouldn't be doing, and they forget when they take those pictures are all uploaded to the cloud. So when the bad guys come in and they're raiding the account, they're looking for those pictures, not only just to fuel the porn industry, which is huge, but also for future ransom. And you'll find out that a lot of, particularly country and western singers or singers in general, who have become very popular or successful, all of a sudden there's some pictures that shouldn't be on the internet or published. And of course, the first thing that happens is there's a denial, but after the pictures are out there, there's the, oh yes, my account was hacked 10 years ago. And finally, now the pictures surfaced. So pictures and money are the two things the bad guys want. So most of the hacking doesn't occur by people. It occurs by bots. These are basically computer software programs people have written to try and attack and get into your account. So these are not actually physical people logging in trying to sneak around and hack into your account. So I want you, as you're laying there and you're looking up into the sky, I want you to think of Star Wars and think about the bad guys launching the bots that are attacking the good guys. So what happens? Well, Google responds with their own bots and the war begins. And as you're sitting there looking up at the stars, thinking about this, think about the war of the good and the bad. But of course, the good will prevail and Google wins, right? So the casualty of war, though, could be your Google account. In other words, as these bots are attacking your account, they're stripping out the pictures in your account, they're looking for Bitcoins, and as they go into your email system, they're demolishing, they're destroying your emails. Bang! Google zaps your account and it's gone. So your account is the casualty of the bot war. So what is in your Google account? It's your Gmail. So in my case, let me tell you what I would lose if I lost my Google account. I've spent years and years and years developing relationships with a lot of organizations I work with. Huge number of people that I know. I communicate daily with them in email. That would all be gone. My Google Drive has 200 gigabytes of data on it. That would all be gone. Now, I've probably got it backed up, but it's still a lot of work to get it back up to Google Drive. Google Photos, you're going to lose all your Google Photos. Oh man, that would be impossible to put all those photos. I've got 20,000 photos up there. It would almost be impossible to redo that. And the biggest one for me, and I realize this isn't for everybody, but is my YouTube channel. I've spent the last 5 or 6 years, there's tens of thousands of hours in that channel, and all the videos would all be gone. all because of an attack, all because someone hacked into my account and now it's all gone. So do you want to start over? I don't think you do. So let's get you protected. So two-factor authentication is easy, and it's 100% effective to prevent what I just discussed. So it is a must-have. Let's have a look. So these are the accounts that I have protected. I have Google, Microsoft, Amazon, LastPass, PayPal, GoDaddy, Twitter, and MailChimp. Those all are my accounts that I have two-factor authentication enabled on. So there are 4 methods. There's the simple, the simpler, the simplest, and the totally brain dead one. All right. All right. So let's go to the simple one first. All right. Okay, everyone. We're going to do a little demonstration. Now I'm going to give you something that no one else has. All right. So for this demonstration, I want you to hold your arm out straight, palms up. All right, come on. Everybody get their arm out, and I want you to hold it out straight, but the palm must be up. Huey, you don't have your arm out. Bob, come on. Dewey, get your arm out straight, palms up. You're leaning on the desk. I can see you. All right, you've got your arms straightened out, and your palm is up. Now, through the magic of the internet, I am going to come into your house, into your computer now. I'm going to walk down your arm, and I'm going to jump up and down on your hand, and I'm going to put something in the palm of your hand that nobody else will have, and it's going to be unique to you, okay? Are you ready? Come on, you got to have your arm out straight and your palm up. Is everyone ready? Let's start this now. Okay, with your left hand, I want you to take your cell phone and I want you to put it in your right hand in the palm. In your cell phone, you will now find a unique 6-digit code that nobody else would have. And that's what I just came in. I put it in your phone and it's now in the palm of your hand, and that's a 6-digit code that no one else will have. Now, you have 30 seconds to enter it into the computer as your second factor authentication. That, folks, is the first and most common method of two-factor authentication that we have. It is a text message to your cell phone. All right, now all the security people in this room are all going to be jumping up and down and saying, but, and okay, let's talk about the problems with this. In order for this to work, you have to get text messaging. So if you don't have an account or a cell phone plan that gets text messages, then this isn't going to work for you. Most do have text messaging though, although internationally when you travel, you will need an international texting plan. Also, some people just don't want to text and they think it causes cancer or some weird things like that. I don't know, but there are people who just don't want to text. The other thing is called SIM jacking. And this is a targeted attack in which someone actually steals the SIM card out of your phone. They phone the cell phone plan, your cell phone provider up, and they talk them into porting your number onto their SIM card. Then, of course, your secret 6-digit code wouldn't go to your phone, it would go to their phone. And that's called SIM jacking, and it actually occurs fairly commonly. However, these are mostly targeted attacks. And this comes back to the nobody and somebody. If you're sort of a nobody, unlikely you're going to get a targeted attack. But for sure, if you hold a responsible position, let's say you're in politics, and you move from, the risk level would go up as you move from municipal to state to federal politics. As you move up, then of course, it would be more important for you to be very careful with this. So, but it is the most common form of second factor authentication. But there's even a simpler method than this, one that doesn't involve text messaging. Let's look at that. This is where we are going to use what we call an authentication app. This is an app that sits on your phone and provides that 6-digit code, and you don't even have to be connected to the internet. The apps are all free. Now, if you go on to the Play Store, you'll find out, if you look to the left, there are Microsoft makes an Authenticator app, Google makes an Authenticator app, LastPass, Sophos, LastPass, and the one I use, which is called Authy, A-U-T-H-Y. Now, I will tell you that for many, many years, probably 5 or 6 years, I used the Google Authenticator app. All these apps work exactly the same, and it doesn't matter which one you pick. It doesn't matter. You just pick one of them, and they all work exactly the same. And I'll tell you exactly how that works in a minute. But I used Google for about 5 or 6 years, and it worked fine. Then I was listening to Leo Laporte, a techie guy on the radio show. He's a national radio show, and he liked Authy, A-U-T-H-Y, and you'll see that is outlined in red on the screen. And he recommended that, and I've been using Authy for the last 3 or 4 years. Authy has some advantages. The first thing Authy lets you do is, if you get a new cell phone, it's very easy to move your accounts from your old phone to your new phone. It used to be with Google, with the Authenticator, you had to reinitiate the authentication app for each account. So Authy lets you just move it much easier between phones. The second thing it is it allows you to have an app on your PC as well as on your phone to get the codes. So it works a little bit better. It's free as well, and so I've been using Authy, A-U-T-H-Y. Okay, let's see how this app works. So this is real simple. Remember, this is even simpler. I said this is so simple. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to go to the service, let's say Google, and you want to initiate two-factor authentication. It's going to say, well, do you want to use the Authenticator app? And you say yes. Okay. And so on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see a QR code. So in the setup of Google, what you'd be doing is, when you say, yes, I want to use an Authenticator app, on your computer screen would come up this QR code. Okay? Now, on the right side of your screen, which would be your cell phone, you would open up the Authenticator app, and you would say, I want to create a new account, and you'd click on that, and it would bring up a scanning window. It would like you're going to scan the QR code, okay? All as you do is take the QR code, you take the scanner from your phone, and you hover it over top of the QR code on your screen of your computer. Boom. Something happens, and you now have an account. And that's all there is to it. It's that simple. It takes a couple of seconds to do. Boom, it's there. So how does the app work? Like what happened here? All as the app is it's a timer. It's a timer. When you scan that QR code, it starts a digital timer, and it randomly generates a 6-digit code every 30 seconds, right? And yes, the bad guys could download the app, that's not a problem, but they would never ever be able to synchronize the exact time when you started it. In other words, when you click that button and you sync the two together, they would never know what that exact time was, and that's what creates the 6-digit code. So now when you want to get your 6-digit code, your wherever you're logging into your Google account, it says what is the 6-digit code. You just open the app up and you'll be able to see what the 6-digit code is. So what are the advantages to the Authenticator app? Well, the app works on all sites, and it doesn't matter which one you use. They're all free. It works locally on your phone. You don't even need to be connected to the internet. And it creates the 6-digit code that's good for 30 seconds. And then you just enter that in. That's why some of you probably said, gee whiz, 6 digits. With the supercomputers we have, it could probably be hacked. That's true, but not in 30 seconds. So the code will change every 30 seconds, all right? And that's called the Authenticator app, and that's basically what I use for all my accounts. All right, the third method is the simplest method, and this is not probably for everyone, but for techies it works really well. I found this particular service only available on Google. And maybe it's available on some other sites, but Google does use this. And what this does is this in the setup of your, in the security features of your account, it will ask you if you want to take a device, and let's say your cell phone, and you want to make it a trusted device, all right? And you say yes, and there's a little process you go through to verify that your phone now is a trusted device. So now if you're trying to log in, you get a push notification to your phone coming up, as you'll see here on the right hand side, and you'll get a message like this saying, trying to sign in. It'll say so-and-so is trying to sign in from another computer. Is this you? And you can, if it is, you say yes, and boom, it lets you in. You don't need to put the second factor. You don't need that 6-digit code. This is actually really helpful for techies like myself, who I was 2 days ago, I was setting up a computer. I was using, I put some Linux on it, and I needed to get into my Google account. So what would happen is when I tried to get into my Google account, I just got a push notification on my cell phone and saying, hey, is this you? And I said yes, and boom, I'm in. So it's an easy way to do it. Probably not everybody needs to do that way. All right, here is the last way, the sixth and last way. This is the most secure, and this is the brain dead way. All right, this is it's using a key. Yes, a key. Now I have to tell you, there's a little some fun with this. I wanted to find some pictures of keys. So one of the companies that makes keys is called Yuba. So I did a search for Yuba. And I got the Locksmith Yuba City Key Company, which actually makes keys, physical keys, not digital keys. And anyway, so this is the picture from their site. So these are keys that you would have in your house. So you actually can use a key to lock your computer, just like your car, just like your house. You use a physical key. And these are the keys that you would have. And to give you, there are a lot of different companies that make them. On the bottom left here, you'll see Google's keys. They sell these. I think they're around $50 for the two of them. You'll see that there is a physical key that actually goes into the computer, and there's one here on the side, which is your Bluetooth key, right? Because you wouldn't be able to plug a key into your cell phone, so you'd use the Bluetooth key. So you'd either have a physical one that you plug in. And so when you use these keys, you do not need the second factor, because the second factor is in the key. And unless you have the key in your computer, you're not going to get into those accounts. All right, if you work for Google, you can only access your account with the Google key. And employee accounts don't get hacked. This completely stopped any hacking, because that's an encrypted key and there's nobody else that has the code. So you have to use that key to get into your account. All right, so here are the to review, here are the 4 methods of two-factor authentication we talked about today. There's simple, which is the text messaging. There is simpler, which is the authentication app. There's the simplest, which is the push notification. And there's the brain dead, which of course is the security key. So my final comments are this, and I'm going to give you a couple of tips that you can take home with you. Two-factor authentication generally doesn't work on shared accounts. And in our computer club, I see a lot of people that has a husband and wife shared account. And shared accounts really don't work well with two-factor authentication. The second thing is, You really do require your own cell phone. So again, sharing a cell phone with a partner doesn't usually work in this situation. And as we move into the post-COVID era, a lot of the monitoring devices, we talk a lot about watches and personal health monitoring devices that are going to be coming out for you in the next few years. Again, all are very person specific and are related to your own cell phone. So it really is you really need to each have your own cell phone, particularly for security as we move on into the future. Well, thanks for watching. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Two-factor authentication explained. Remember, if you like the video, please click the like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you again, and thanks for watching my video.